whenever Americans have faced mortal crises, I mean, look, we know this. We know all the better today, and by no means have we transcended it. The stories of exploitation, oppression, injustice, and persecution. We know that, and we should never forget it, and we should never fail to remember it and indeed to recount it. But it's also the case that at times of mortal crisis, 1770s, the American Revolution, the 1860s, the Civil War years, the 1930s, the Great Depression, the worst economic and social catastrophe in American history, and then followed by the war against fascism, that Americans found it in themselves, for all of their faults and failings and the divisions, and however much folks were literally marginalized, the fact is that somehow they got it in themselves to transcend the crisis, to beat their enemies, to literally rise up and make America radical. The way they survived was by going radical, so that, the 1770s witnessed the foundation of the makings of a democratic republic. The 1860s witnessed the achievement of defeating the Confederacy by ending slavery. Okay, and in 1930s, empowering working people. And the more important point about that is that did not happen from the top down. Okay, in the American Revolution, in the Civil War, in the Great Depression, and the New Deal, these were popular struggles that pushed political leaders to go even further than they themselves would ever have gone. So, this is the kind of thing, and when I think about that, it prevents me from losing hope. It prevents me from becoming cynical. And I'll just say my hero ever since I was 10 years old, not only the Packers, but was Thomas Paine. And Paine, in his pamphlet Common Sense, and I guess if people can see what we're doing, I'll just hold up. I mean, it's this little 47-page pamphlet, Common Sense. And he had some great lines in there. We're still connected, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I can hear you. You can see yourself. I changed the screen.
Yeah, I see myself. I don't see you. But so he wrote, "We have it in our power to begin the world over again," which was probably the most revolutionary line in modern world history. In some ways, it is the foundation of modern history. If you think of modern history as a radical break from all the eras of the past. And I'll also note that I've discovered this after I wrote my first book on Thomas Paine, so it's not in there. But Martin Luther King Jr., in the late 60s, before his assassination in 68, when he was really worried, I mean, he went through periods of real despondency because having gotten the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, achieved, the fact was that he went north and discovered the depth of racism in the north.
In Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, and then he also he knew damn well, but he also realized the degree to which the struggle for equality, which he had always been a part of, was also going to be a struggle for the rights of working people. And obviously, in the case of Memphis, decidedly, black sanitation workers, those who suffered the inequality the most. But he says in one of his writings, one of his books, which I've got somewhere over my shoulder here, that the line that sort of restores him, or at least lifts his spirits, is Thomas Paine's line, "We have it in our power to begin the world over again." And the recognition of that is a very powerful insight, because it's, in one sense, it's fundamentally false. I mean, you can never fully start the world over because we all have memories. But it's also fundamentally true, because the point is that history, politics and society and the economy, the entire social and political order are ours. We've made them, we suffer them, and it's our task to either endure them or transform them, okay?
To hear the rest of this show and more, you can find us at This Is Revolution Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you get your podcasts. This is Revolution.